Hello, 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 you beautiful bunch. Welcome back to another training. Um, we are going to be talking all things the ultimate performance stack. This is going to be this is essentially going to be kind of episode one in terms of the supplement education I'm going to be providing. All right. This is going to be a brief kind of overview of the supplements that I believe every single one of you should be taking and should be having in your supplement stack. What's going to follow this is a deeper dive into each supplement that I've listed here in terms of dosages, in terms of timing, in terms of do you need to cycle on and off, the benefits of it. We're going to go right deep into each supplement that I believe you should all have in there. But for this video here, we're just going to skim over the supplements that I believe that we should have. Because if I was to do that, plus do a deep dive into each supplement, this training would be about 14 days long. And although you'll love me, I think, um, you listen to my voice for 14 days would drive you mad. So we're going to break the trainings up one by one. All right. But for just now, we're going to get into this one, mate. The first supplement I think every single person should be taking is creatine, unless unless your digestive system cannot handle loading creatine 3 to 5 grams every single day. Out of the 7 or 8 years that I've been coaching, I've had two clients in that entire time who were taking creatine who just couldn't stomach it. It was causing digestive irritation, if you will. It's a polite way of saying that. It was going through them. But in saying that, with those two clients, I just got them to load creatine at a lower dose. So rather than aiming for 3 to 5 grams every single day, we started with a gram and a half every day, and we just loaded it. We just increased it. We just increased it over time, and we found good success then. All right. But with creatine, it improves overall performance in terms of maximal strength, overall endurance output, it improves power output, it improves your muscle mass, it improves your recovery, has been shown to improve brain function in terms of focus. And I did put this in here as well, but to be honest, to say that creatine is the one thing that is a defense against neurological disease, it's pretty hard to actually prove that. And there are constant studies getting done on that, but it's still going to be very, very hard to say, yes, if you take creatine, then it's going to improve or it's going to be like a defense against neurological disease. But when you look at creatine, when you look at the benefits of creatine, that is something that constantly comes up on a frequent basis. So I just thought I'd put that in there. But we're not doing it for this. We're doing it for the improved overall performance and recovery and muscle mass and brain function as well. So that actually has a massive positive impact in terms of the brain function, your focus during sessions as well. All right. So creatine is an absolute, excuse me, is an absolute must to have in every single one of your supplement stack. So if you've not got it, get it. Caffeine is the next one. Other than creatine, I think caffeine is the most studied performance enhancement supplement, if you will, that there is out there. The improvement that caffeine gives us from a performance standpoint is huge, is absolutely huge. So it improves and enhances endurance performance in terms of it allows us to have a greater power output, and it slows down the rate of fatigue. So it'll give you maybe an extra couple of seconds on a sprint. It'll give you maybe an extra half rep to rep. In terms of if you're doing like hypertrophy or muscular endurance, it'll help that as well. All right. There aren't any definitive studies to say that caffeine has a direct positive impact on like top end strength. So for powerlifters inside the program, caffeine might not be the best thing in terms of, right, this is the supplement that's going to help me improve my bench by 10 kilo. There's no direct studies to say it does, but in saying that, placebo effect, you're feeling absolutely buzzed, and from caffeine you feel all hyped, that gets you focused, laser into your session, then of course it can have a positive impact on your strength performance, of course. And that leads me to that. Improve cognitive function, and then improve reaction and alertness as well. So you'll see a lot of, if you ever study or look into caffeine and overall performance, you'll see a lot of like tennis players, you'll see a lot of like rugby players, football players, ice hockey players, field hockey players, cyclists. They take it. They take a lot of caffeine. There's actually a ban on the amount of the dosage of caffeine that you can actually take within some sports, just because it is so performance enhancing. And Tour de France athletes got busted for it a good few years ago, because they were just they were having very, very, very high dosages of caffeine, but the performance impact that it actually had was outstanding. It really, really was. But yeah, Tour de France athletes, they love to get an edge on the competition, so they do. But yeah, caffeine again is another one. I would prefer you to obviously take your caffeine hit in the form of like a pre-workout or actual like coffee itself. Just because like energy drinks, there's so much shit that comes with energy drinks. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. This isn't a case of like good or bad, like this is better than this. It's just there's so much stuff within like energy drinks. It's tough to say that you're going to get a real good caffeine hit there. Whereas obviously if you drink a black coffee, then you're getting a pretty decent caffeine hit there in terms of the dosage. All right. But again, caffeine is caffeine at the end of the day. So however you like to consume your caffeine, I don't think it's going to have a negative impact. The only thing is if you're going to have like a monster and things like that, there are studies to say that drinking fizzy juice, excuse me, drinking fizzy juice before an endurance session, like an endurance bout of any intensity, can actually be a negative effect, because it can dehydrate you just a little bit, and any sort of lack of hydration can obviously have a negative impact on our endurance performance. So just be mindful of that. If you're going to do like a HYROX simulation, you're going to go for a long run, maybe leave the Monster or the Reign or whatever you want in the fridge, opt for a coffee or opt for a pre-workout that doesn't have any sort of like pump stimulus and things like that in there. All right. My favorite supplement right now, Betaline, as they like to call it. Very, very effective supplement. Again, I think everyone should be having it in their supplement stack. It increases exercise capacity. So if we're looking at like longer endurance bouts, higher intense sprint work, if we're looking at any sort of muscular endurance building, hypertrophy, it allows us to seek out an extra rep, and it gives you a couple of extra seconds. It delays or decreases muscle fatigue. So when we look at it from like a hypertrophy standpoint or like a muscular endurance standpoint, think about doing bicep curls or pushing a sled for fucking 500 meters, or you're doing long steady state zone 2 runs, or you're doing sprint work. It's going to give you that little bit more, and we need those little half percents, don't we? When we're trying to perform at our best. But yeah, beta-alanine increases overall exercise capacity from a muscular endurance, a muscle hypertrophy, and an endurance standpoint as well. It gives you that. So again, beta-alanine is an absolute must. Beta-alanine is the thing that you get in pre-workouts that make your skin tingle. You do need to have beta-alanine in your system for a good few weeks for you to actually see the upside to taking beta-alanine. But also often people say that you need to cycle on and off every like 3 to 4 weeks. You don't. You should be loading it for 2, 3, 4 months. Like I've got my next race is in June, or my next event is in June, and I'll be loading beta-alanine right up until then. And I've been loading it since December. So keep it in your system, build it up like creatine. It needs to be built up. and then you'll start noticing the benefits of beta-alanine. All right. And then another thing that's overlooked is citrulline malate. Citrulline malate is fantastic. See, if you're going to go from like a hypertrophy, a muscle endurance, or even like a strength kind of perspective, citrulline malate is going to be fantastic for you. It really, really, really is. It helps overall recovery. And it helps overall performance. So when we look at more so from a muscle building, strength, blood flow kind of standpoint, that will help that. So when you look at hypertrophy and muscular endurance, citrulline malate is a must in your supplement stack. From an endurance standpoint, I'll just hold my hands up. I've not read that much into citrulline malate from an endurance standpoint. But from a hypertrophy, muscular endurance, strength perspective, is very, very, very good. Very, 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 very good. But again, if I find any sort of literature that I'm like, right, that does indeed kind of make sense from an endurance standpoint, I'll obviously put that in the training when we go in balls deep into citrulline malate. But yeah, those are the supplements that I think we should all have or add into your supplement stack from a performance standpoint. They're very, very good. Beta-alanine, caffeine, citrulline malate, and of course creatine, going to be an absolute game changer. I will just put obviously a side note to this. Amino acids are of course going to be very, very good for you. So like BCAAs or EAAs, essential amino acids. People get butt hurt by saying, oh, I take essential amino acids over branched chain amino acids. It's all the same stuff at the end of the day. If you get enough protein in your diet, then you're going to have enough amino acids in your diet, of course. But amino acids are, of course, going to be very, very good from a recovery muscle mass kind of standpoint. And then protein powder, of course, you might think, wait a minute, Steve, you've just done a supplement stack on performance, but no protein powder. Why not? Because 90% of these already take protein anyway. And from a direct protein powder standpoint, in terms of the positive impact it has on performance, doesn't really have that much because protein powder is just protein. So if you get enough through your diet, then there's no real need to have protein powder. But again, there's huge benefits to actually having protein powder for busy individuals. It's just nice and easy to take with you. It's just in a shaker cup. You don't need to really meal prep or anything like that. So it's very, very time efficient for busy individuals. It tends to digest pretty fast. In terms of compare that to like meat or chicken or whatnot or fish or something like that, it does digest very, very well. So from a post-workout kind of standpoint, it's very, very good. And of course, if you obviously wanted to train in the morning, but you don't like training fasted like myself, having like a protein shake with some carbohydrates is always going to be more beneficial because it's going to digest pretty well. You're going to be fueled and full for that workout as well. So yes, of course, there's massive benefits to having protein powder in your supplement stack. And don't think I'm hating on that, but I just thought I would come up with a different angle, things that potentially are going to be beneficial to you and that you've not really had yet. So yeah, this is episode 1 of the Ultimate Performance Stack. In the next one, we will dissect and go right into and review. Dissect, 60. We will review creatine monohydrate in terms of pros, the cons, if there is any. The loading should be sick on and off, all those things. The most frequently asked questions on creatine, I will be answering that. But other than that, team, I hope we're good. Hope you enjoyed this. Speak to you soon.